morning and welcome to today's super exciting video. At least for me it's super exciting because I am going to unbox my seed orders, finally. Since I decided to do an unboxing video, I was waiting for all my seed orders to get here, and the first one has already actually arrived over a week ago, so you can imagine how much self-restraint I had to exercise. I am still actually waiting on one of my orders, but there's no saying how long it will take to get here. All the seed companies are swamped. And I want to start sowing, and I also can't wait any longer. There are a few things I want to say before I start opening my packages. And that is, I order quite a lot of seeds. There's definitely a more frugal way to go about this, but because I am a very curious gardener who likes to try new things, and because I'm also an author writing about gardening and I want to learn about as many varieties as possible, I order more than you would need, strictly speaking. Also, if you're a beginning gardener, you're starting from zero, then you have to order a lot of seeds. But if you have gardened for some years, you usually accumulate older seeds, and many of them can still be used. So before you start ordering seeds, it's good to go through your through your stash and see what you can still use. And that is also what I did. This is how I store my seeds. This is actually an upgrade because up till very recently they were in an old shoebox, and now I'm storing them in these fancy wine crates, repurposed. And I went through everything and I saw like what do I have, what is still usable. Some seeds lose viability very quickly, for example carrots and onions, and those are often not worth storing and using the next year because the germination would be very low. But there are seeds like cucumbers, winter squash, tomatoes that can be used for many years, especially if you store them well. That means in cool and dry conditions. So after I went through my stash, I thought, well, there's very little that I need actually, but then I went on some websites of seed companies, and of course I discovered that there are a lot of things that I want to grow, and so I started ordering. And let's have a look at what I got in the mail. The first order that I'm going to open is from the Belgian nursery and seed company called the Nieuwe Tuin, or the New Garden in English, which is run by Peter Bouwens and his wife Katelijne. I have met them, I think about 15 years ago at a garden festival, and over the years we have become friends. Peter is also a prolific garden writer, and when I was in the past 2 years, when I was chief editor of the garden magazine De Tuin op Tafel, The Garden on the Table, I also asked him to do a series on articles on unusual grains and pulses. The assortment of the nursery, what they carry, is quite eclectic, but the wonderful thing is that they always try all the varieties themselves. So they also always look for interesting new things to grow, and you can be sure that if they carry the seeds, that this is a variety that is suitable for our climate. This is a little bit of a bittersweet moment because I've been ordering from this nursery since I started gardening in the Netherlands, which is about 18 years now. And this year I read on their website when I went to place my order that this is the last year that they are operating. They'll be closing down. So let's open this. Also, points for the packaging. This is the most ecologically sound packaging of all the companies. Cardboard box, no tape. Okay, what have we got? So there are some things that I've grown before, and there are some new things that I'll be trialing. Well, I'll try to show you all the varieties and then tell you a little bit about them. Also, all the packaging and the website design and everything is very beautiful and on brand, and I think that's because Peter, I think he told me once that he studied graphic design, so you can it really shows. They have a very distinct packaging with beautiful sometimes photos that are made by Peter, or sometimes illustrations. Okay, the first variety, or the first vegetable that I ordered, is this broad bean called Giant Exhibition. It's a new to me variety. I have not grown this one before, but it has very long pods with very large seeds. Then I have two varieties of sugar snap peas, Opal Creek, which is a yellow potted one, and Amish snap, an heirloom Amish variety. And these both I have grown before and I was very happy with them. Another bean, but this one is for growing in the summer. So I will be sowing this one later. It's a climbing bean called Rattlesnake Snap. And I actually want to grow this one for drying for the winter for the beans. I have not done this in quite some time, but recently when I was cleaning out my cupboard, I discovered a pot with beans that I had grown, like they were borlotti beans, and I had grown these maybe 3 years ago. So I thought they would not be very good anymore, but they were excellent. And I thought, well, I have to do this more often. Next, I have 3 varieties of mustard greens, Purple Pop, Bacana, and Pink Lettucey. And those are all very mild tasting, very little heat to them. Again, I have a video about 12 varieties of leaf mustards that we trialed, I think 2 years ago. So if you would like to know more about different mustard greens, then go check this one out. Then I have one variety of carrot, which is called Amsterdamse Bak, or Amsterdam Forcing in English. And this is a variety that is very well suited to early sowing, either in the greenhouse or in a cold frame. So I will be sowing this one, I think this weekend, tomorrow probably, in the greenhouse for an early harvest. Then I have a variety of spinach which is called Bloomsdale Longstanding, and it is a variety that should be slow to bolt. And I think I have grown this one before, but I do not remember how well it has done or not done. It's an heirloom variety, and early bolting of spinach has been a problem these past years. So I hope this will help somewhat, because our springs are getting warmer, and that's really not great for spinach, which prefers cooler temperatures for growing. And then the part of the order that I'm most excited about, and that is different varieties of kale, because this is you should have seen the face that my son just made, because he's behind the camera. Apparently kale is not his favorite vegetable, but I do love it, and it is also a very ornamental vegetable. There are different kinds, like this one, this purple one, which is called scarlet, that are also very ornamental and actually even great for a flower border, I would say. But I have grown this one before, but there are some that I have not grown. Usually I grow only 1 or 2 varieties of kale, so I do not do a side-by-side comparison, but this year I want to do a proper trial with different varieties. I'll just very quickly tell you what varieties I have. This one is called Thousand Hat, and Old English Heirloom, Hungry Gap, another English Heirloom. Then I have Old Timey Blue, and then I have Tronchuda, which is a Portuguese heirloom. Tronchuda. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. I actually even went online and checked Portuguese pronunciation. So if you're Portuguese, please let me know if this is what it should be pronounced like. And I would also like to know whether, if you're in Portugal, whether you know this variety and how do you use it, because it's quite different from the other kales in the sense that it's mainly grown for the stalks and not for the leaves, even though the leaves are edible as well. Then I have the before mentioned variety Scarlet. Then I have Russian kale, which should be very hardy. And then I have Dazzling Blue, which is a new variety, quite similar to Cavolo Nero or the Tuscan kale, but then this one has purple nerves, purple stalks and purple nerves. So it should be, maybe, I think it should look pretty with next to Tuscan kale maybe. I have seeds of that one, so that one will also be part of the trial. And I have also ordered from the same company that has not mailed my order yet. I have also ordered an heirloom Dutch variety for comparison, since we're in the Netherlands. And then the last one is called Russian Frills, and it's an own selection by Peter. And I don't know whether you can see you can see the image. It's really pretty. I'm not sure how whether it's really useful in the kitchen as well, but we'll find out. When you order from this nursery, they also send you some notes on growing and when to sowing, proper times for sowing. So I think that's really thoughtful and a great service. And one more thing I want to say, this nursery carries, they have a good assortment of seeds of perennial vegetables, which are often hard to find elsewhere. So if that's something you're looking for, I would encourage you to go on their website. I'll put the link below and see whether you can order. The website is unfortunately only in Dutch, but they do ship to at least some other European countries. I have checked with Peter, and unfortunately they're no longer able to ship to the UK because of Brexit, so I'm sorry about that. My next order is from the Dutch company called Janssen Zaden, and I have also ordered from them many times. And the one, the most interesting thing about this company, probably, or from my point of view at least, is they're specialized in winter squash. And even though they have many other things on the website as well, I'm trying to unbox this carefully because I would like to be able to reuse this packaging for sending books. So after a bit of struggle, I managed to unpack this. And unfortunately, the packaging is not as beautiful and there are no pictures. But I have called the company and I have gotten permission to use photos from their website so that I can show you what I have ordered. So as I said, there are two things that I ordered. There are a lot of winter squash for another of my trials, and there are a lot of cut flowers, which is another thing that I'm very excited to be growing this year again. So if you have watched some of my reviews of the winter squash we have grown over the years, then you probably know that I have trouble growing the Hokkaido or Hubbard type of winter squash. I do love the taste, but often in our trials they are some of the least successful varieties. I have discovered over the years lots of great butternuts, so I'm no longer really looking in that direction, but I would really like to find some varieties of Hokkaido or Hubbard that we can grow successfully. So just quickly, I have Buttercup, which is a kabocha type, a green winter squash, kabocha type with orange flesh. I have green Hokkaido, which is the Hokkaido type, there is the red type or orange type, and this is the green one. I've grown the orange one, but not the green one, so this is a new one to me. And then I have Victor, which is also, it's a new variety of Hubbard, and apparently, if I'm correct, this was grown, this variety was selected and bred in the Netherlands, so it should really be well suited to our climate, so I'm really hoping that this one will be successful. And then I have Sweet Fall, which is an heirloom that starts green and then later gets this beautiful pinkish orange color apparently. And apparently this is a variety that's so sweet and good that you can even eat it raw. So I'm really curious about this one. And the last one is a variety that I have grown before, and it was one of the most successful Hubbards that we have had in our garden. It's Lakota, which is an heirloom variety that was grown by the Lakota Sioux Native American tribe. And it is also a very beautiful one. It is slightly larger than the way I prefer my winter squash. I have many times I have said that I like my winter squash like in the size between 1 and 2 kilos, because those are easier for us to handle. And this one was, when we grew it, it gave us really good harvest, but the fruits were on average over 5 kilo. But nevertheless, the taste was great, and I would like to compare this one to the other varieties that I'll be trialing this year. Then I have some cut flowers, zinnias, envy, and Queen Red Lime. These are, I've grown both of them before, and they're some of my favorite varieties of cut flowers. Then I have drumsticks, Crassipedia, an ornamental carrot. I have Molusella, that's Bells of Ireland, which is a very beautiful green, very like interesting looking green for your bouquets, and I've also grown that one before. Then I have Black-Eyed Susan variety called Chocolate Orange. Have not grown that one before. And then I have Cosmos, a double with double blooms. But I will be doing a series of videos on my cut flower garden, and the first one will be on the planning. So I will talk more in depth about the cut flower varieties and types of flowers that I'll be growing. One more thing before I forget, I called the owner of the company. I had some questions about shipping and other stuff so that I could share that with you. And he also offered a 10% discount through a code Grown to Cook 2021, which I will put the link in the description box. So if you would like to order from them, and they do ship to, I think, all European countries and even outside of European Union probably, but you would have to check that. So if you are interested in, especially if you're interested in some interesting varieties of winter squash, then go on the website and have a look there. My last order, or of the orders that I'll be unpacking today, is from Nice and Bulbs, which is a Dutch company primarily specialized in spring bulbs. And I've ordered spring bulbs from them before, but I have not ordered seeds yet. So this is the first time. And I have to tell you, I ordered in the afternoon on one day, and I got my order the next day, which is like amazing, because at this point, like, all the seed companies are so swamped that sometimes your order will take more than 2 weeks. There are companies that are going offline so they can fulfill the orders that I have already gotten. So I don't know how they do it, but they must be awfully well organized. Okay, and the reason that I ordered from Nice and Bulbs is that they do have some vegetable seeds, but they also carry a wide variety of flower seeds. And the problem with flower seeds is that often when you buy things, you will get mixes. And if you're looking for single color varieties, then it's not that easy to find. And they do carry quite a lot. I have almost forgot, I also ordered some bulbs. This is Crocosmia Lady Anne, which I will be planting in my flower. They're great Crocosmias that are also good cut flowers, so I will be planting this in my cut flower garden as well. But let's look at the flowers. So one thing I didn't know, the package also contains stickers on which there are all the things that I ordered with their growing requirements, about like the information about the variety, but also when to sow, how to space, and so on. So that's handy, I guess. So let's look at there's actually one vegetable that I ordered, and that's Daikon radish, and the variety is called Minovase Summer Cross. Have not grown that one before. It should be just a good daikon. I have forgotten to sow any radishes for like the oriental radishes that I usually grow for the winter months. I have not sown any last year. Usually I sow them in July or August for harvest throughout the winter, and I have not done that, and that's something that I was really sorry I forgot. So I will not forget this year. So I have just gotten a great tip from my son that I should try putting my hand behind the package to help the camera focus. Does that help? Yeah! Okay, I hope that you were able to see before as well. But okay, the first flower variety that I have here is Wallflower, and this is Better Mix. Wallflowers are biennials, so this will be for next year. I have some more biennials here. This is a beautiful sweet William variety called Blackadder, a very dark one, very elegant one for bouquets. Yeah, focusing great. So like 3/4 way through the video we have discovered how to focus properly. Okay, and this is another biennial, it is Icelandic Poppy. Okay, and then I have some annuals, like this beautiful color mix of cornflowers and Nigella. What is it called in English? Love in a Mist. Those are hardy annuals. I have a variety of sunflower which is called Moonshine, a pale one. Also should be a good cut flower. And then I have some this one is also a hardy annual. This is Queen of Africa, and that's Bishop's flower in English. And then I have 2 half-hardy annuals, tobacco plant and Snapdragons. The Snapdragons is also a beautiful dark variety called Black Prince, and the Nicotiana or tobacco plant is a lime green one, which is also a great like foliage-like plant for bouquets. But again, I will go into detail on this in a video about how I plan my cut flower garden. And the last 2 here are Vanadium. I think it's called African sunflower in English, not sure, which I think is a great cut flower. I have grown it before, and I do not often see it grown as a cut flower. And then I have Malope, which is annual mellow. I think this is a Vulcan variety. One more thing I would like to mention is that I have just recently, just this week, set up a Patreon page. And if you become a patron, then you can get access to some awesome perks. There are several tiers, and in one of the tiers, then one of the things that you can get is I will be doing a monthly overview of all the seeds, all the varieties that I'm sowing that month, and I have already put up a sheet for February. So if you are interested in that, in getting a more in-depth information and a more direct access to me through Q&As, for example, or there's also in the top tier you can also get consultancy, then I would really appreciate if you would become a Patreon and support my work. That would be awesome. My son also suggested that I could offer as one of the perks in one of the tiers access to my bloopers, but I will not do that to you. So that's it for today. This is all the seeds that I have so far. There'll be a little bit more, and also my seed potatoes coming in, but unfortunately I could not unpack those. But even this is like super exciting. I can start sowing finally. Stay tuned for the rest of the season to see what will become of the seeds. And don't forget to hit the notification button so that you don't miss a video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please let me know in the comments whether there are some exciting new things that you'll be trying to grow this year. Happy gardening!